If you could tell us a little bit about the church story. I don't think we captured that.
Yeah, I'll tell you, when we had that storm, then we heard that the church was crushed. So, everybody went up and see it. I've seen many pictures of it, and I don't know if I took a picture of it or not. I think I may have had a picture of it. But it's unbelievable how you could look at, I think, the part of the front wall. It was part of one wall, but I think it was part of the front wall. It's just halfway up. But the rest of it was flat. And in the usual Derry, their family, and I imagine that maybe Lawrence had some help, maybe he didn't, but they put it back together. And it's still standing just like they put it.
Was there community involvement that you were?
I didn't hear about no fundraising. You usually hear about fundraising. They just went on and put the church up. They put it back up. Now they got an addition to the church way out there now that took them, I don't know, 3 or 4 years to build, maybe longer than that, I'm not sure. But I've heard about that fundraising, But they went, put the church up. And Lawrence very seldom went to church. I remember he told me, very seldom went to church. But the community spirit. He was a good man.
So the church really means a lot to the community, obviously. To the African American community and also the broader community.
And he got nothing out of the church, except for still, nobody in the church could afford one of Derry's houses, I mean, he just went on and did it. And Macy didn't even go to that church. He was a Quaker. I don't say he hadn't been in there, but he came to all the Derry funerals and things like that, but he wasn't a member of that church. But I know one thing, I never heard anybody say that each of them, or one of them, they wanted $1. I never heard nobody say that. So that's consequently, I think it was their contribution to that church. But I tell you what, when that church went down, a lot of people's went down too with it. But I think it's a beautiful testimony and tribute to both of them.
Is there anything else you wanted to touch on, Mike?
No, the only thing, and I know that you've seen this, the build-up, the housing, the tracts of housing that have gone up. Because in 1943, when you would come out on West Town Road or 926.
Right, nothing.
What did you see?
Plenty of grass and trees and fields. But that's happened so much. Thousands and thousands and thousands of houses have been built. This morning, going toward Kennett Square. There's a little church over there today. They got 50 houses built right around since last year. Used to be nothing but fields. Now, West Town came out, but I know there's still some 2-acre plots out in West Town, but I think it was 4 acres they had a zone, something like that, and they said, no, you can't do that, really. That was stopping people from going, But the housing, now Derry built his son. He built 222 North Church Street. The senior citizen building on Church Street, 222. Derry's son built that. Now Joe, and what's Joe doing now? But one time he had offices in Philadelphia, Washington, Atlanta, So I'm not sure what he's doing now.
And I know he's going to be part of our project.
Yeah, well now because I think Joe was not Lawrence's son. Joe was Joseph's son. And he can probably tell you where his inspiration got, and he probably even worked closer with Lawrence, that he knows, what his attitude. Maybe talk to Joe, because I did talk to Lawrence one time about Joe, and I forgot what he told me, but like they're big shots. They go over here. I'm just right here. But Lawrence thing was stone. And we almost put up a stone funeral home. And I think that's one of the few times that I did what I wanted to do and not what my wife wanted to do. But my wife wanted the stone too. But we had that one brick house on the corner, and the 3 down the street was brick. And we would put a stone funeral home between all these bricks, you know. It would have went. It would have went. I didn't see it at the time, but it would have went. Because, you know, a Derry stone house, but they did brick just as well. Oh, they did brick just as well. But he was a stone mason. He worked for DuPont 7 days a week. All the stone you see down there around in Delaware, he did.
Now, we're also, for our project, we'll be talking to George Hilton. I think we're going to try to talk
That's
to
the other family.
Hilton.
The Hiltons, right. I know you keep on there. The Hiltons, the Derry, the Pounceys, the Brown. And there's still another family, the Stills.
Stills.
Yeah, but still, I think it's a bunch of...
They were part of that community, and I know they were the pillars of the community.
Right.
Out here.
Right. But now, they're kind of sort of spread out a little bit. But a few years ago, the old house was just like it was. The old porch. You know, I think about, you know, maybe, I guess inside probably they got modern electricity and all that. And I haven't been down that road lately. But even though he's built great houses all around, the old house, the old farmhouse, is just like it was. And there was a great big distance between him and where Lawrence's house was. And, you know, Lawrence's house down there, stone, beautifully done, but with that space heater in the middle of the floor, you know. And Lawrence said, very comfortable. You know, what do I know, you know, very comfortable.
Well, we've covered a lot of territory. This is really great insights.
Well, let's talk about some more.
Yeah, indeed. Well, is there something that you would like to mention that we haven't covered?
Well, I'm thinking, now we're going to look from 1943 to, say, 2013. We're talking about 70 years. The changes been made, and the changes I've seen, yes, plenty. Of course, the housing situation is one. The schools and the schools that are built, in which there's a lot of money in schools, you know, and the improvement of the schools. I remember trying to say the expense of the school, that's costing us a lot of money. That's a big educational, I call it progress, depending on how you look at it, progress with students, but the school boards have made themselves available to students. Like Henderson, tennis courts, soccer fields, stadiums, you know, extra school built east and Stetson, Pierce, Mary House, you know, because the population is growing, which also says more traffic. Then with the mandate of busing the students, that's all added to it. But we're talking about the roads, so they had to rebuild some of the roads to accommodate that. In fact, what they do is that if anybody's going to put in a new building, or they make sure that the traffic pattern is going to be impaired, or do they need a traffic light there so that they can control traffic. The thousands and thousands of houses that a lot of the green, it's just not there anymore. But yet there's still room probably, you know, to build.
I was going to ask one question, and my final question. In the 1940s, what did people do? Now, I know the Derrys were builders, and they probably hired some people in the area. But what did a lot of the people out here, especially in the African American community,
Most of them,
How did they make a living?
well, African American teachers, you take Union Street. Most of the teachers on there, Rocky Anderson, the Pierces, and the Denny's. They caught the train every morning to Philadelphia. Harold Denny did, because even in the 50s, they wouldn't hire African American teachers in the Westchester schools.
They would not.
No, we're not. No, it wouldn't. My wife taught for 20 years in Wilmington, and well, I'll take that back. They had one segregated African American school in Westchester, and it was called Adams Street, Gay Street. It was called Gay Street School, where the black students all went until they went to high school. Now they went there, and Mrs. Brock, Mrs. Robinson, Mrs. Wallington, and they talk about, and it's a Gay Street Association now too, to try to keep that history alive. They talked about how they were really taught. They were really taught pride. They were really taught about they had to study, and you didn't dare drop out. I don't know if they had a dropout thing, but because they'll come around your house. They knew you. You all lived the same block, And where were you yesterday? And you couldn't go nowhere because everybody said, "Hey, I saw him going up to the theater." Well, the theater's all segregated too, so they couldn't even. I don't know what time they opened or not, but that was one of the things that, and that with the colleges saying you can't stay on campus, that you have to stay in Henry's house on Minor Street, the Coleman's house on Minor Street, the Washington house on Minor Street, and then that was on the unit block of Minor Street. And then the Pierces had a place where students could go. They were designated. But out of that came some great friendships. And then they were finally allowed onto the campus. And that changed the dynamics, of course, But
well, thank you so much. This was really a wonderful afternoon to hear your...
Well, I'll probably think of some things when I go home that
it always happens that way.
that I should have told you about.
Yeah.
But I just want to make sure that I sort of kind of completed some areas, maybe probably some areas where I duplicated some of the things you knew.
No. It's always nice to have multiple perspectives on the same story. Yeah.
But I say that the changes, it's been consistent probably with the rest of the United States. There's been a lot of progress here. Colleges with state teachers college, normal students, state teachers college, and then they became the title of universities. And I think that's significant. But the people that are left here, when they come back, they're all, I think Westchester had this, And because we still got those people in Westchester too that are trying to keep the cultural and historic significance of Westchester the same. Don't build another building higher than Billy Penn. Don't build another building higher than 74 feet. So we have that. Although they did put that monstrous Justice Center up, but they did that. They did do that, but they don't want to change. I mean, it's beautiful because when I was mayor, I used to see some of the committee. They have somebody go out there and take the shadows that'll be casting at certain times of the day. My place is gonna be in the dark, this kind of thing, because when the sun gets here, when the sun gets here, they will we'll put this kind of cast on it, you know, because the building, if it's so many feet high, that's what it'll do. Well, in the closing statement, let me say, with all of its changes and the people that are involved, I think everybody's kind of come up with it together. You two, for example. Now, his contributions to the last 30 or 40 years has been part of the natural growth of the community, reaching back to the past to build on the future. And because of what you're trying to do to put it all together, and I hope I've been a little part of it, it's going to be able to do this, and because what you do now is important. But 20 years from now, when people see what you did, they probably won't even believe it. You know, and some of the stories that were told. And I certainly want to thank you for asking me to come over. And if you think there's something that you want to ask me later on, please don't hesitate to call me.
We will.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
All right, good. Okay. All right. Okay.